hosting candid photos of their charity looking good, happy, and oh so holy. These stories always left me with the same bothersome questions. Why might charity feel like vanity? How real is their impact on local communities? And why go so far away when there are so many needy people in their own cities? As I approached this adventure to Tecate, Mexico, a border town about an hour's drive from both Tijuana and San Diego, these questions left me, as the expression goes, poorly pronounced. Colgando de hilo, that is, hanging by a thread, where I remained throughout the entire trip. Until, in what I discovered to be his mysterious and utterly belied fashion, God once again intervened on my behalf. He hid the keys to my questions in an unlikely place, with a woman I would have very few encounters with. The first time I saw Anna was right outside the border. She had short curly hair and a sleek leather jacket. As I admired her laughter from the man, she disappeared to escort us into Mexico from her motorcycle. As God would have it, I wouldn't talk to her until the very last night. We settled in late that day, and the night would be short for some, for they rose at 5 a.m. the next morning to the sound of dogs barking and roosters crowing from every corner of the city. They were on breakfast duty. Everything they needed was set out for them by Betty and Elena, who would prepare our day every morning to come. Now well fed, I loaded into a van with kids as young as 14 years old, and others who would be celebrating their 71st birthday. I've never seen anything like it. Why would parents send their kids to another country to build a home for a family they do not know? And to my kids' credit, not once did they take a selfie for Snapchat or Instagram. I watched closely, and I saw no vanity. Others left the comforts of familiarity to try scary and new things. As for the elderly, what a strange way to spend retirement, driving 16 hours to labor from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., unpaid, returning to bunk beds after 5-minute showers. I watched closely, and I only saw sacrifice. But please understand, I also didn't see saints. This isn't a story of fortunate heroes rescuing broken people. God first revealed this to me by exposing my own brokenness. Perhaps in a more intimate setting, I can tell you all the details, but for now, know this. For 2 days, I said and did kind things, but my heart had a deep darkness. Something about laboring on your knees, spending endless time with other broken people, tears all the walls down. It makes it harder to hide from our impatience, pride, and faults. And meanwhile, you watch people in deeper hardship than anything you've ever experienced smile and bless you with generosity and gratitude. It brought me to tears, and for the first time, I truly felt the weight of shortcomings that lay inside me. And as God pruned my branches, He did the same for a local pastor who helped us build this house. The first thing I noticed about him was his serious face. It seemed to me that he often sat back, observing the chaos unfolding before him. I wondered if our inexperience showed in all of our bent nails and unorthodox methods. After the home was completed, he addressed us at his local church, and with the help of Elena's translation, we discovered that he too learned more about what kind of need existed in the city. He was especially encouraged by the love and effort of our most inexperienced builders. During the dinner they prepared for us, the Spirit must have possessed me because I told him how serious he looked and how relieved I was that he wasn't bothered by the chaos. He laughed. He expressed his frustration with the language barrier, wishing that he could do more. In the midst of him feeling that he didn't do enough, we often praised him on our van rides back to the church where we were staying, about how perfectly he installed the windows and how often previous mission teams struggled with the same task, never knowing that he needed the encouragement. And so I think charity looks like vanity, when we mistake ourselves for heroes. It looks like humility, when we allow God to show how imperfectly we see others and ourselves. And through a repentant heart, we become humbled by our faults, and we see how people we serve us in equal portions.
Pero necesitaría, no, es con,
Yeah.
it's my home. This is for you. O sea, when you come back, maybe it's the floor and I finish. And now it's good.
And so while a mother and her daughter gained a home, a pastor gained a story that by God's grace will encourage others in Tecate to provide more support to their neighbor. American missionaries learned what it looks like to accept God's gifts without shame, to host with all generosity, and to endure hardship with full trust in God. You know, I plan to investigate these hard questions through interviews. First on my docket was Betty, one of the founders of Saber Missions. I sat her down to film on the very last night, but just before we could begin, God arranged my second direct encounter with Anna. Not noticing my plans to film, she began to tell me about the last year and a half. She took a flight to Colorado when she discovered that Betty's husband had died. While comforting Betty, she got a call that her own husband had unfortunately passed away, a tragic event that would lead to a long road of grieving and severe illness. Now, only a year and a half later, she lost her home, her hair, and she prays that God will repair the family bonds that broke after her husband's death. For a second time, I was brought to tears. Both Betty, Anna, and Elena's story, which I have yet to hear in full, are riddled with wounds that are still healing, and yet they pour themselves into helping others. By the end of Anna's story, the sun had set, and I learned that God heals us by calling us out of isolation and to one. And He heals us by giving broken people the honor to serve each other through the strength of Jesus Christ and in accordance to God's grand plan for His people. Now, only one question remains. Why did we go all the way to Mexico while our own cities suffer? Well, we all serve our local communities in small daily ways, or at least we try to. But with that, God doesn't expect one person to help all people. He calls many to every corner of the earth, some farther, some closer. And so while Betty's heart breaks for Mexico, costing us just 1 week of our lives, God also calls people like the founders of Crazy Faith Ministries to the local homeless communities in Pueblo, Colorado. But that is a story for another time.